My dad gave my promotion perk to my useless brother. Now they're watching the business fall apart without me. I spent 8 years working at my dad's HVAC company. Started when I was 19, answering phones and filing paperwork. By 25, I was running the entire scheduling system, managing our crew of 12 technicians, and handling all the big commercial accounts. My brother Derek joined the company when he was 23. Dad gave him some made-up title like Regional Development Manager, but really he just drove around visiting job sites and took long lunches. Derek would show up at 10, leave by 3, and somehow Dad thought he was working hard. I'd be there at 7 in the morning dealing with emergency calls and wouldn't leave until 6 or 7 at night. Last year, Dad told me he wanted to promote me to Operations Director. Said I'd earned it and that I'd get the company truck, the one with all the premium tools and equipment. That truck was basically a mobile workshop worth about $50,000. More importantly, it meant I'd have everything I needed to handle the complex jobs myself, train new guys properly, and really run things the right way. I was so excited. I'd already been doing the Operations Director job for 2 years, without the title or the pay. This felt like Dad finally seeing all my work. Then Derek got a DUI, lost his license for 6 months, couldn't drive himself anywhere. The next Monday, Dad called me into his office and told me Derek needed the company truck more than I did since he couldn't drive his own car. Said it was temporary just until Derek got his license back. I was furious, but I didn't argue. Family comes first, right? 6 months passed. Derek got his license back, but Dad never gave me the truck. When I asked about it, Dad said Derek had been using it so well for client meetings that it made more sense for him to keep it. Client meetings? Derek was using that truck to drive to bars and baseball games. I'd see it parked outside his apartment complex on weekends, loaded with his fishing gear. Meanwhile, I was driving my beat-up Honda, hauling equipment in my trunk like some rookie. But the worst part came in March. Dad announced at our staff meeting that Derek was being promoted to Operations Director. My job, the position I'd been promised. Derek stood there grinning like he'd accomplished something. He'd never scheduled a single job, never handled a commercial account, couldn't even read the invoicing system I'd built from scratch. I asked Dad to speak privately after the meeting, told him this wasn't fair. I'd done everything for this company. Derek had done nothing. Dad got defensive, said Derek needed more responsibility to grow, that I was already great at my job so I didn't need a title change, that I should be happy to help my brother succeed. That's when I realized it didn't matter how hard I worked. Derek would always get everything handed to him just because Dad couldn't see him as the screw-up he actually was. I gave my 2 weeks notice the next day. Dad thought I was bluffing, said I'd never actually leave the family business. But I had an offer from Crawford Mechanical, our biggest competitor. They'd been trying to recruit me for 2 years. Better pay, better title, and they actually valued my work. My last day was a Friday. I handed over my keys, wrote up a 50-page document explaining every system I'd built, and walked out. Derek was supposed to take over my accounts on Monday. By Tuesday afternoon, my phone was blowing up. 3 of our biggest commercial clients called me directly saying Derek had no idea what he was doing. He'd missed an emergency call at a hospital because he didn't understand the priority system, double booked 2 crews at the same location, quoted a job at half the price it should have been because he couldn't read the estimate sheets. By Thursday, 2 of those commercial clients had switched to Crawford Mechanical. They specifically requested me as their account manager. My new boss was thrilled. Dad called me that night angry, asking why I was stealing his clients. I told him I wasn't stealing anyone. His clients were choosing to leave because Derek couldn't do the job. Over the next 3 months, Dad lost 6 more commercial accounts. His scheduling system fell apart without me managing it. Technicians were showing up to wrong addresses, equipment wasn't getting maintained properly, and invoices were going out with mistakes. I heard through the crew that Derek was basically hiding in his office all day, overwhelmed and clueless. Dad had to hire 2 people to do what I'd been doing alone, and he still had to give Derek help because Derek couldn't handle it. Last week, Dad texted me asking if we could talk. Said maybe he'd made a mistake, that the company needed me back. I left him on red. I'm doing great at Crawford, just got another promotion, and I'm managing twice the clients I had before. Dad's business is barely staying afloat, and Derek finally admitted he's in over his head. But that's not my problem anymore.